Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2019 action film Blood Hunters: Rise of the Hybrids. A film that is written and directed by Vincent Soberano, who also stars in the film as Bolo. And we also get Sarah Chang in the film, Monso del Rosario and Roxanne Barcello. Now, this is an action film that kind of gives Blade a run for his money, and it focuses on these clans that are kind of fighting against each other. You've got these hybrid creatures. They're kind of described at the beginning, quite a nice animated opening to the film. It gives you a description of how it's been in the past, how these kind of aliens came down, and then these hybrids were created. Basically, they're like a cross between werewolves and vampires. Is the best way I can describe them. And so you've got these creatures, and then you've got these blood hunters on the other side that are essentially there to hunt down these creatures. And there's essentially a war between the two factions, basically, and we get to see who comes out on top. So that's the basic premise of the film that we have here. Now, what are my thoughts on Blood Hunters: Rise of the Hybrids? Well, if you like really good, fast, well choreographed martial arts films, you're going to be in for a little bit of a treat here, because that is what you're getting. You're getting skilled martial artists going up against other skilled martial artists, and some great fight scenes, some nicely choreographed fight scenes here. Where this film struggles is the stuff in between that, the dialogue stuff. The problem you always get with films like this, especially when you cast in martial artists who aren't particularly skilled in acting, is you get inconsistent performances, I suppose is the best way of saying it. You get some performances that are okay, and you get some that are a little bit below par, because essentially they're not actors, some of the people or some of the characters in this film. However, they are incredibly skilled martial artists, and this film really picks up every time the action starts. It's fun, it's frantic, it's creative. There's each fight scene, each action set piece feels different to the last one to a large degree. But essentially, it's just a series of action scenes sewn together, basically, because the stuff in between doesn't necessarily work. Especially the early part of the film, the dialogue in the early part of the film essentially is just exposition. They're trying to world build here. They're trying to create this world, and they're trying to explain who everybody is, and nearly every character that you meet early on in this film is delivering exposition to try and create this world and build this world around them. It just gets a little bit jarring. You can get away with that once or twice, but early on in the film it just seemed like every other dialogue scene was just to build this exposition. There are a couple of scenes as well that will make you giggle a little bit, because there's one actor in particular who plays like the head honcho in regards to the beasties, and he's got these huge teeth in, obviously, with his makeup and everything, and he can barely talk with his teeth in, and it's quite comical actually. He's trying his best. You can really tell he's trying his best, but it just doesn't work, and it's actually quite comical. And it's, sometimes if you put like Halloween teeth in and how you struggle to talk, it just was very much like that. So you've got your usual stuff here. You've got characters that have had their families killed, so they vow revenge, and then you've got these people betraying these people, and by the end you get people betraying the clans, and it all gets a little bit jarring and stuff, and to keep track on who's who and why they're doing what they're doing. But the general feel of this film essentially is, and I would suggest if you're a fan of, like, remember the 80s martial arts extravaganza films that were born from the 70s martial arts films, there is quite a lot here to enjoy, and I was quite impressed with much of the makeup. Some of it didn't work, but a lot of it did. It felt like they put a lot of effort into the makeup to give these creatures, if you like, it gives him quite an effective look, and it also felt as well, this film, like, no, even though these are creatures, they never really felt like if they were like creatures or crosses between vampires and demons or whatever they were. It never really made it 100% clear, I felt. They didn't ever really seem to have any real advantage over the blood hunters, who essentially were just highly trained killers, human. There were a couple that were hybrids, if you like, a bit like a la Blade, that were like, had some of the powers of these things, but so it just felt like two fighters going against each other, and one of them had makeup on and to look like this demon, and the other one was, had SWAT gear on. It never really felt like there was any real advantage for either side here, which I think would have upped the ante a bit. I think if they'd have made even the head honchos, the beasties, when you got to those fights, you thought that, oh, this is going to be they're going to have a real advantage here, and they never really did. It didn't feel like it. But I did like as well, there were like these cartoon panels, like switching from scene to scene occasionally. You get these cartoon panels to give it like this cartoon look to the film, so you almost like you were watching reading a comic. So like these comic panels, which I thought it gave it a unique look to the film as well. So it's nothing special. I'll give it a 5 out of 10, but it's an entertaining martial arts film, and if you like low budget martial art films, you're going to be pretty impressed here. The story's nothing to write home about, but the action is certainly watchable, and I think many action fans will forgive some of the film's faults. So that's my review for Blood Hunters, Rise of the Hybrids. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it useful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you back here for more reviews on Screen Stars.